Hi, I am Magenta Lust, an international multi-award winning neo-burlesque performer from the northeast of Fife in Scotland. It feels really bizarre to say that, even though I've been performing for the best part of 12 years. Originally, I was involved with the European Burlesque and Variety Congress, which of course was to take place at the end of the March, but lockdown. But I was to lead an open discussion about mental health and performance arts. So I am honoured that I can bring it to you in this podcast platform. And thank you, Celeste, for having me involved. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to finish making this. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit different from what I had imagined, obviously, as I was aiming to converse with others and share experiences, rather than sit and talk about myself. But the comments and stuff, and my DMs are always open, so like if you want to start an open conversation, like from this video and your own experiences, feel free. But at the moment I am going to share a little bit about my journey and how I use my mental health within my performance art. If you'd like to follow up more on my journey, I post more in depth on my Instagram account. So, yes, over the last 11 and a half years, Burlesque has provided me with a platform to express myself in a variety of ways. And ultimately helped me develop and open up as a person. It was a long road to kind of get there. For the first half of my career, I didn't quite understand how unstable I was. There was a lot of doing lots of performances and running away from things and changing my life direction quite a few times. I did a lot of really bizarre things, but now I am diagnosed as a high-functioning autistic. Literally happened 3 months ago, with coinciding bipolar type 1 and borderline personality disorder. It is definitely kind of a lot. Yeah, but I know what's going on now, so it's fine. And medication, therapy, all good. And I'm still actually quite genuinely surprised, but forever grateful that I still have a career, because there was a lot of like in and out. Despite my up and down health, up until like 2015, I never really stopped performing. And actually, I did do at least like 1 or 2 performances a year between 2015 and 2018. Yeah, most of the time I never really stopped performing. If I was manic, I didn't sleep, I didn't eat, I took on as many performances as possible. If I felt sad, again, it was the same thing. But it's something I've come to realize, that I didn't quite feel that I had a voice. I could still somewhat communicate myself through burlesque, because the blend of acting, theatrics, music, and movement, all of which I find very therapeutic things. I mean, I went to acting school because and I studied acting quite quite in depth because I wanted to learn how to be like a normal person, which didn't always quite work. So then when I create like the idea of Magenta originally was, it was so far extended from the type of person I actually was, and then yeah, living as that wasn't really the best idea, but it's how we learn and grow, really. I am very lucky to have my best friend Lilius. You might know her as Cage Crinoline. Accompanies me to some of the most important performances of my life. There are just no words having that level of love and support, like in life in general, but also the fact that she's a costume designer, is that is, I still got the cake, is somebody I can share, and a drag queen, and somebody I can share that with, and we're both like incredibly like anxious people, but we support each other and it's great. R2D2, I am not a robot. I have often been referred to as a robot, mainly due to not having normal emotional reactions to particularly tragic events. This act, the idea came to me whilst I repetitively listened to the Marina and the Diamonds track whilst my father lay in a coma. When I don't understand how to express what I'm feeling and therefore am completely detached, I tend to do that, find relatable music and sit and listen obsessively. The phrase, well, I'll just have to do a burlesque act showing that I'm not a robot, was said in anger, and at the time I didn't realise that that's what I had been doing all along, like expressing my emotions through burlesque. R2D2 was a perfect accident when I was invited to perform for a cosplay event. My band Roswell at the time were already performing, and whilst I don't follow cosplay or particularly think of myself as nerdlesque, I took on the challenge of what I thought was going to be a one-off act about 6 years ago. And if, can you believe it, I actually asked Cage Crinoline to help me make a cardboard cutout R2D2 for me to dance with, and she said no, which was very good of her, because then I've been able to fully realize the R2D2 act as it is today, where the real woman comes out of the shell. Devil's Doll. This act is about splitting and perfection, about how sometimes the world is bleak and grey and has to be perfect and controlled, but there's still magic, colour and hope, breaking the mould and taking back of the self. I remember one gentleman after a performance who commented that the act wasn't about taking my clothes off, but in fact depicted an angry woman taking back her power. Over the years, I've changed the choreography, particularly as I've become more experienced in ballet. There's still the drive for perfection. I've come off stage several times severely critiquing myself to the point of self-injury because I know what went wrong on stage, even if the audience don't. But this act, and the ballet and contemporary teachers I've worked with have helped me learn it's not about perfect technique. It's the passion of movement and the story. The Sickness, my zombie burlesque act. I have performed in all sorts of mental and physically ill states, perhaps sometimes unhealthily, constantly pushing myself over the edge and burning out. But the show must always go on, even during periods of feeling dead inside, with the hope to break through towards better times. Burlesque constantly brings me back to life. I think the worst part of dealing with mental health and performance is mostly imposter syndrome, believing that I am not good enough and that I don't belong. And it's opened a lot of interesting conversations that other people kind of sometimes do feel the same way, or how to sort of get out of that mindset. I'm often very awkward backstage. I think it happens a lot more now, which is weird because I'm more me than what I was before, when I lived under the idea of what I thought Magenta was, rather than a real person who I am. But I don't know if it's just because of that couple of years between 2015 and 18 that I didn't. It's something that I'm still learning to sort of do, and I'd gotten so much better at it through 2019, and all that traveling changed me as a human and connecting with so many different people. Definitely not intentional. I just find social interaction quite difficult, and the hardcore Magenta persona that I created, that I was able to handle people. I used to be able to work in bars. I physically can't do that anymore, and I look back and I'm just kind of that was a completely different wow. I do feel like I've gone a little bit backwards. I should have been in 3 European countries in the last 3 months and gone back down south. So the confidence about doing that and doing social interaction is just, yeah. And I'm the imposter syndrome as well comes from I am an incredible perfectionist. For the performance to not be as good as I wanted it to be, that I suppose that is an incredibly annoying feeling. And then it's why am I even booked here? Because I am not good. It takes a lot to actually believe that in yourself. So many people can say it to you, and I absolutely love every person that has come up to me and said that they love my routines. They think I'm amazing. It's hard to take a compliment, and it's hard to fully believe it sometimes. I'm getting better. I am getting better. I am proud of where I am today. I know that I'm good, but I will always want to be better. If you wanna start an open conversation with me, please feel free to get in touch. I'm Magenta Terry is my personal Facebook's. It's Terry with an I. I can only talk from my own experiences or lend an ear, but I can provide links to certain places. Burlesque has brought into my life such a plethora of enriching experiences and opportunities. So many beautiful people, and I relish every experience, good or bad, because it makes you who you are today. Learning and growing, all of the things, and I want long may it continue. I want to meet you all. I want to do everything. Yes, thank you for allowing me to share this video with you, and thank you for taking the time to watch it. Again, thank you to the European Burlesque and Variety Congress, and of course Celeste, for having me and allowing me to do this. Have a beautiful day wherever you are, and stay safe. Much love.